welcome to the 7 o'clock main news. In tonight's headlines, His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah receives His Royal Highness the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Bahrain and his accompanying delegation. A suicide bombing struck a coffee shop last night in the northern Lebanese city of Tripoli, killing at least 7 people and wounding more than 30. Huge crowds and some 40 world leaders are taking part in a unity march in Paris after 7 people were killed during 3 days of deadly attacks. And a crash between a bus and an oil tanker near Karachi leaves 57 people dead and 4 injured. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah received at Bayan Palace this afternoon His Royal Highness Prince Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa, Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Bahrain, and his accompanying delegation in the presence of His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah and His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mbarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister. The cordial talks in the meeting reflected the strength of the existing brotherly relations between the State of Kuwait and the Kingdom of Bahrain, as well as their willingness to promote those relations in the manner that will serve their common interest in the framework of the Gulf Cooperation Council historic relations. The meeting was also attended by His Excellency the First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Deputy Minister of Emir Diwan Affairs Sheikh Ali Jarrah Al Sabah, Cabinet members and senior government officials. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah hosted at Bayan Palace a luncheon banquet in honour of the visiting His Royal Highness Prince Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa, Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Bahrain, and his accompanying delegation. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah received at Bayan Palace this morning His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah. His Highness the Emir then received His Excellency the National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanem. His Highness the Emir also received His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mbarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister. His Highness the Emir later received His Excellency the First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah sent a cable of congratulations to the President of the Democratic Republic of Sri Lanka, Maithripala Sirisena, on the occasion of his election as President and swearing in. His Highness wished more progress and growth for the relations between Kuwait and Sri Lanka. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah sent a cable of congratulations to the President of the Democratic Republic of Sri Lanka, Maithripala Sirisena, on the occasion of his election as President and his swearing in. His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mbarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister, also sent a similar cable of congratulations. His Highness the Crown Prince Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmed Al Jaber Al Sabah received at Bayan Palace this morning His Excellency the National Assembly Speaker Marzouk Ali Al Ghanem. His Highness the Crown Prince then received His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mbarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister. His Highness the Crown Prince also received His Excellency the First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah. His Highness the Crown Prince then received His Excellency the Deputy Premier and Minister of Defence Sheikh Khalid Al Jarrah Al Sabah. His Royal Highness Prince Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa, Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Bahrain, and his accompanying delegation left Kuwait today at the end of a short brotherly visit. His Royal Highness was seen off at the Emiri Airport by His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al Mbarak Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Prime Minister, Their Excellencies the First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Deputy Premier and Minister of Interior Sheikh Mohammed Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah, the Deputy Premier and Minister of Defence Sheikh Khalid Al Jarrah Al Sabah, a number of sheikhs, ministers, senior army, police and National Guard officers and senior government officials. His Royal Highness Prince Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa, Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Bahrain, and his accompanying delegation arrived in Kuwait earlier today on a short visit. He was received upon his arrival at the airport by His Highness Sheikh Jabir al-Mbarak al-Hamad al-Subah, the Prime Minister, Their Excellencies the First Deputy Premier and Foreign Minister Sheikh Subah al-Khalid al-Hamad al-Subah, the Deputy Premier and Minister of Interior Sheikh Mohammed Khalid al-Hamad al-Subah, the Deputy Premier and Minister of Defence Sheikh Khalid Jarrah al-Subah, a number of sheikhs, ministers, senior army, police and National Guard officers and senior government officials. In a statement upon his arrival, His Royal Highness Prince Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa said he was pleased to pay this short visit to the State of Kuwait and to meet with His Highness the Emir Sheikh Subah Al Ahmed Al Jabir Al Subah, to whom he will convey the greetings and best wishes of His Majesty the King, as well as the government and people of Bahrain. He added that the visit would be an opportunity to assert the depth of the brotherly relations between the two countries and their peoples. He pointed out that talks would review means of boosting cooperation and coordination with a view to maintaining unity and strength of the Gulf Cooperation Council and the interests of its people, especially at the current juncture when the region is faced with serious political, economic and security challenges. His Royal Highness the Prime Minister of Bahrain said that those challenges required collective efforts from which all GCC countries will benefit. They also need solidarity, avoiding any issue that may create division among those countries. He went on to say that we have to recall in this respect the outcome of the complementary accord in Riyadh, which was reached through the wisdom of the custodian of the two holy mosques and the moves of His Highness Sheikh Subah Al Ahmed Al Jabir Al Subah, as well as the commitment of the GCC leaders. His Royal Highness Prince Khalifa bin Salman Al Khalifa said the accord was highly cherished by the GCC leaders to push ahead collective work, and we hope that all parties will abide by it at all levels, especially with regards to the media activities. He concluded his statement by asserting that the Kuwaiti officials share with their brothers in Bahrain the need and efforts to protect solidarity and coherence among the GCC countries. First Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Sheikh Subah al-Khalid al-Hamad al-Subah expressed today Kuwait's condemnation of the terrorist attack that occurred in Lebanon. A suicide bomb attack on a cafe in the northern Lebanese city of Tripoli left at least 7 people dead. The attack was the latest violence to hit a region repeatedly buffeted by violence linked to the civil war in neighbouring Syria. Hiba Abdul Rahman has more in the following report.
A suicide bomb attack in the northern Lebanese city of Tripoli has killed at least 7 people in the latest violence linked to Syria's civil war. The Nusra Front, which is Al-Qaeda's Syrian affiliate, said the attack also injured 30 people. The place was the first major attack in Lebanon for months. Lebanon's national news agency said that the attack was carried out by 2 men from Tripoli, where long-standing religious tensions have been intensified by the war in neighboring Syria. In a statement, the Nusra Front said that the attack was in revenge for the victims in Syria and Lebanon. Tripoli had been in the midst of a tense calm since last October, when fighting broke out between militants and government troops, killing 11 soldiers, 5 civilians, and about 2 dozen militants. Prime Minister Tamam Salem said that the bombing was a new attempt to spread the seeds of strife in Tripoli, but insisted that it would not weaken the determination of the state to confront terrorism and terrorists. The army said that the double attack was carried out by a lone suicide bomber, though the investigations were still underway. The National News Agency said that the second bomber had blown himself up as people gathered in response to the first blast. Lebanon's security has been severely damaged by the Syria crisis. It has also been worsened by its own paralyzed government, with the country having been without a president since May last year. Yet, some hoped that Tripoli would become a safer and more peaceful place in the near future. Militants linked to the so-called IS and Nusra Front mounted an attack on the Lebanese border town of Arsal last August. They are still holding around 24 members of the security forces taken captive in that incursion.
His Excellency the First Deputy Premier and Minister of Foreign Affairs Sheikh Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Hamad Al-Sabah leaves Kuwait for Lebanon tomorrow, heading an Arab delegation in view of Kuwait being the current chairman of the Arab League at the summit level. The delegation also includes the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation in the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, Ahmed Ould Takdi, whose country is the current president of the Arab League Ministerial Council, and Arab League Secretary General Dr. Nabil Al-Arabi. The Arab delegation's visit to Lebanon is intended to reassert Arab solidarity with the government and people of Lebanon, and to support the efforts being made on the political, economic and security levels to maintain peace and stability of Lebanon. The relief campaign called by the International Islamic Charity Organization to receive donations and relief aid for the Syrian refugees in the neighbouring countries commences today. Chairman of the International Islamic Organization, advisor at the Mir Diwan and the UN Envoy for Humanitarian Affairs, Dr. Abdullah Matoug al-Matoug, urged all citizens and expatriates to extend a helping hand to the Syrian refugees to ease their suffering. He also called upon charitable and humanitarian organizations at the local, regional and international levels to rally their efforts and respond as quickly as possible to the call for helping the Syrian refugees who are enduring very harsh conditions. Dr. Al-Matoug said the world community should realize that what is being presented now to the Syrian refugees would not be sufficient, and the community should live up to its responsibility of bringing an end to an unprecedented catastrophe. Palestinians are seeking to open new investigations into Israeli war crimes that have been committed since last summer before the International Criminal Court, or the ICC. More on the following report by Fatma Abdel Karim from Ramallah.
Officially, Palestine will be a member of the International Criminal Court as of April 1st, after ratifying the Rome Statute to be able to legally pursue Israel's war crimes against the Palestinian people. Today, the Palestinians are preparing to take measures immediately to start examining crimes committed by Israel.
I think there are two issues here. One, the issue of Gaza, and two, the issue of settlements. The issue of settlements is a war crime in the annals of the ICC, and therefore I think two cases are being prepared for presentation.
Both the United States administration and the Israeli government argued against the admission of Palestine into the ICC. They pressured the Palestinian president and threatened to cut off aid. Israeli officials who have withheld Palestinian tax money fear the threats posed by this step.
I think Israel, by its steps, by its punishment of Palestine, it will not work. And I feel that the Palestinian leadership this time, they have real will and political will to proceed because they got nothing from the negotiations. They got nothing from making the ICC and other things as a bargaining chip for the sake of negotiation.
Palestine's declaration into the ICC recognizes the jurisdiction in the occupied Palestinian territories, including East Jerusalem, since June 13th of 2014, which means it is planning to look into the 50 days offensive on Gaza last summer. Israeli officials are fearful of the possibility of being held accountable and convicted for war crimes against Palestinians that they are accusing President Mahmoud Abbas of waging a diplomatic war. Fatma Abdelkarim, Kuwait TV, Ramallah, Palestine.
Huge crowds and some 40 world leaders have gathered in Paris for a unity march after 17 people were killed during 3 days of deadly attacks. More than 1 million marchers are expected to take to the streets. Police are seeking accomplices of the gunmen who attacked satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo and a supermarket. 2 attackers who were shot dead by police on Friday killed 11 people at the magazine offices and in the French capital last Wednesday, and a French policeman in a nearby street. A crash between a bus and an oil tanker near Karachi has left 57 people dead and 4 injured. Officials said that the inside of the bus was completely gutted from the fire damage following the accident this morning. Dr. Simi Jamali, who runs the Jinnah Postgraduate Medical Centre in Karachi, which received the 57 bodies from the crash, said that the hospital would have to conduct DNA tests to identify the victims. The oil tanker was reportedly speeding and travelling on the wrong side of the road when it hit the bus head-on. Following the incident, the driver of the tanker is said to have fled the scene. Croatians are voting today in a tight runoff between Liberal incumbent Ivo Josipovic and Conservative Kolinda Grabar-Kitarovic. The 2 candidates received almost the same amount of votes in the first round of polling 2 weeks ago, with Josipovic emerging just 1% point ahead of Grabar-Kitarovic. The Croatian presidency is mainly a ceremonial post, but still has a large influence on foreign policy and defence issues. Croatia and the leftist government have faced criticism for failing to pull the country out of its economic troubles, mainly unemployment that hits around 20%. A day after the tail of the crashed AirAsia plane was fished out of the Java Sea, the search for the missing black box is intensified today, with more pings heard in 2 different locations. Indonesian Coordinating Minister for Maritime Affairs said that 3 Indonesian ships detected the signals located up to 4 kilometers from where the aircraft's rear was discovered. Other officials cautioned it was too soon to know whether the sounds were coming from the black boxes, which detached from the tail when the plane plummeted into the sea on December 28th, killing all 162 people on board. In addition, sonar detected today a large object in the same vicinity, believed to be the main section of the Airbus A320's cabin. And the Kuwait Stock Exchange ended today's session in the green zone as the price index recorded gaining 71.91 points. The weighted index closed a gain of 5.01 points, and the KSX 15 index closed also at a gain of 13.42 points. The number of trades amounted to 7,481 transactions worth 25 million Kuwaiti dinars, with 346 million shares changing hands. For a chance to see our reports again, please visit our YouTube channel at MOI Kuwait News. And to recap tonight's news, here are the headlines once again. His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Ahmed Al-Jabir Al-Sabah receives His Royal Highness the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Bahrain and his accompanying delegation. A suicide bombing struck a coffee shop last night in the northern Lebanese city of Tripoli, killing at least 7 people and wounding more than 30. Huge crowds and some 40 world leaders are taking part in a unity march in Paris after 17 people were killed during 3 days of deadly attacks. And a crash between a bus and an oil tanker near Karachi leaves 57 people dead and 4 injured. Thank you for joining us.